Hey DIYers, today we're going to do a laser level review, but not just any laser level, we're going to do a green light laser level. And I'll let you know what the significance of that is here in just a minute. Now the laser level we're going to be reviewing is going to be this LasGoo LG-3D green light laser level. And the folks at LasGoo reached out to me and asked did I want to do a product review on their laser level. And when I found out it was a green light laser, I said yes, I would love to. So they sent me this one for free. Now if at any time during the video or at the end of the video you want to go buy one, I'll have an Amazon affiliate link down below with a 10% off discount code that you can use. Now I did tell the people at LasGoo that I was going to evaluate this, the goods and the bads. I'm not here to just give you the goods because you gave me a free product, and they were thrilled with that. Now I have a Bosch laser level. It's a GLL3-300. This is a red light laser. So what is the big deal between the green and the red? So from what I've read and heard, your green light laser levels are easier and better to see, especially in brighter lit areas. Now what I'm going to do is see, can I see this thing out in the sunlight? Because that's what I really want. And as far as I know, there may not be any laser you can see out in the sunlight, and you got to have one of those little sticks with the little receiver on it that beep, beep, beeps in order to do it. But we're going to find out. But before we get to that fun stuff, let's go through and fully evaluate this LasGoo laser level in every possible way that we can. Now we're going to look at a lot of different factors on this, and I'll throw in some comparisons with my Bosch, only because that's the only one I have to compare to, and we'll see how it stands up. Now even if you're not interested in this particular laser level or any laser level, stick around, because I'm going to give you a very important demonstration on how to check if you have a current laser level, if it's accurate enough, because we're going to check the accuracy of this one and we're going to compare it to that Bosch, and you don't want to miss that. So the first thing about this level, it's got a 3-year manufacturer's warranty on it, which is actually pretty good, because I looked up on my Bosch, it has a 1 year, but if you register the product, it gets you to a 2 year. So you get a full 3 year on this one, which is kind of nice. Now one thing I'll tell you is I'd never heard of this company and don't know anything about them, but I will tell you I was very impressed with how this package came to me. It came in this nice box, but this nice box was also packaged within a shipping box that was well padded. So as you can see, it comes with a nice box, not a whole lot on it. What's really nice is the insides. It comes in this very nice pouch or bag, if you will. As compared to Bosch, this is what I got from them, was this little baggie to carry it in. And I paid a lot more for that one than what this one costs. So when I took it out of that box, I was really impressed to see the nice carrying case this came in. It's got a nice little handle on it. It's very well padded to protect the materials inside. The lid here is padded and removable, so if something happens to this, you can replace it. The padding that the actual instrument and the accessory sits in is nice and firm and sturdy. It's nice and well organized. So what comes in this kit when you buy it? Well, it comes with an instruction manual, which most all of them do, and this happens to come in 6 different languages. It comes in English, Dutch, Spanish, French, Italian, and I'm sorry, I don't know if this is Japanese or Chinese, but it's in one of those languages. It goes through and tells you what each little component is and how to use them and the safety hazards and everything. So that's really nice. The manual is very well written and easy to read. It's got a nice little troubleshooting area, so if you got some issues, you can check and see if you can fix them. It's got a specifications page, tells you what the specs are. 2 things about this manual I'd like to see. One thing would be is they keep referencing see the field calibration guide. Well, I couldn't ever find it in here. So where is that? Are they meaning the specifications page? Because to me that doesn't seem the same. And the second thing I'd like to see in the instruction manual is a written tutorial as to how to check the accuracy of the laser level in the vertical and the horizontal planes. Because I will tell you that the Bosch does do that. But otherwise, the manual's pretty good. So what else comes with it? It comes with a laser target plate. Now honestly, I don't know what this is used for. If you do, great. I'm going to assume you stick it on a wall or somewhere and you point the laser at it and check the crosshairs. But I really don't know, and I haven't ever used one. It comes with a nice mounting bracket that's adjustable up and down with this knob. Has a mounting screw right here. The other nice thing is it comes with 2 different tripod bolt settings. You got 1/4 inch and 5/8. So depending on what your tripod is that you set this up on, it can accommodate that. And the other nice thing is it's magnetized. It also comes with a slotted hole here, so you can put a screw or a nail in the wall and hook it on and let it hang there, which, you know, most of them do. I mean, the one I got from Bosch has all that in there. Fits nice and snugly right in this little pouch. The other thing I really like about this one compared to my Bosch is it comes with rechargeable batteries, and it comes with 2 of them. Whereas in my Bosch, it takes 4 AA batteries, and they're kind of a pain to load up. This is very easy to load up. And the other really nice thing is they came fully charged. Right out of the box, this is ready to use. You don't have to wait and charge the batteries to use it. So that was a very nice feature. I really liked that. It comes with a charging cord. It only comes with one, which I guess if you're using one, you only need one to charge while the other one's working. It's a USB. Now let's talk about the laser itself. It's well packed and tightly placed inside here. This happens to be a 3-directional or 3D laser, meaning it can do horizontal, vertical this direction, and in vertical plane this direction, whereas some of them only have 1 or 2 different dimensions to them. And that was the other nice thing I wanted to review it, was because it did have 3 planes. Now this is a green light, and the green light wavelength is a 510 to 530, whereas this red laser light is a 630 to 650 nanometer wavelength. This laser, my Bosch, and probably all laser levels are rated this, and this is a class 2 laser. And so what does that mean? So how the classification on the class 2 is could possibly cause damage to the eyes if you look at it. Whereas a class 1, you can look at it and it causes no damage, whereas a class 4 is going to cause severe damage. Now this LasGoo laser level is kind of nice and compact, fits in your hand real well, whereas this Bosch is a little bigger and a little beefier. So, you know, if you got small hands, this one fits in your hand real nice and not as easy to drop. The covering for the lasers themselves, this is kind of a little downfall to me, and it looks to be plastic. It's probably high impact plastic, but whereas my Bosch, these are metal. Just a small difference. They both come with, I'm going to call this impact rubberized container coating or casing around them, which is nice. So in case, you know, if you accidentally drop it, you get some impact protection from that. It has 2 functions you can do in a manual mode, and we'll explain what that is here in a little bit and demonstrate it, or the self-leveling mode, which is pretty standard. Probably all of them have that. This one and my Bosch both have the ability to self-level up to 4 degrees. What that means is if you're setting it on something that's not 100% level, you've got a little forgiveness. Now the working range on this one, or distance, this one has a standard working range of 30 meters or 100 feet, or if you happen to have a receiver, it's anywhere from 5 to 100 meters, so, you know, 15 to 300 feet. As far as the features, this little light here, which isn't on, is your pulse indicator. And what does that mean? This has 2 different pulse qualities of the light. You've got bright and brighter. This here button controls that. With each push, it switches back and forth between the pulse modes. This here is your battery charge indicator, which is really nice, so it lets you know when your battery's about dead. And then the mode button. The mode button switches you between just having either one of these individually on, or a combination of 2 or all 3 of them on at once. So next we'll load a battery up, show you how to do that, and we'll get this turned on. Now I moved inside in the garage, where it's a little darker. Don't worry, we're going to go outside and see how it is, but for this part, I thought it'd be nice in a darker area so it's much easier to see. Here is your manual and self-leveling button here. So if you pull this back, that's your self-leveling mode. Now, as I said earlier, this has a 4-degree forgiveness, if you will. And what that means is if I'm out of level with the tripod itself more than 4 degrees, it can't level itself. And so it tells you so by the blinking light, as you see here. And then as you come back in, it stops. Now, whereas my Bosch here, when it's out of level too far, it beeps at you. Let's back up just a second about the tripod. This is a Bosch tripod. It's nothing special. I got it extra when I got my Bosch laser level. There's nothing proprietary to them. They all have that 1/4-inch screw on the mounting plate, so you can put this on about any tripod you want. If I turn this to manual, it shuts it off. Push on the mode button in the manual position, it turns on. And so these are nice as if, say you want to mount something on the wall at an angle, you can do so by turning this to the angle you want, lock it in, and now it stays there, and you can mount whatever you want at different angles wherever in the room or something that you want to do. Now, I talked about the pulse mode, and that has to do with how bright the light is. When the light's off on top of here, that's the bright mode. Now, when you're pushing, that light comes on, that's your dim mode. There is bright mode. You can kind of tell a little difference. There's dim, bright. As you can see, there's not a huge difference, so I'm probably not going to really be using that. I'm going to put it on the high setting and just leave it. Over here in a side by side, you can kind of see the difference in the red and the green light. Now, standing up here close to them, the green light to me is much sharper than the red. The red is wider and a little fuzzier. But as far as brightness itself, actually to me the red seems a little brighter, and I wonder if it's just because it's the red light. All right, now that we've looked at all the features and kind of compared some of them to the Bosch, let's do an accuracy check. I'm gonna put it in self-leveling mode there. I've got the laser set 5 meters from that wall. How do I know what 5 meters is? I put it in Google. 5 meters equals how many feet? It's 16.4 feet. I put a mark on the floor. And I got the laser set 1 meter from the wall, and I got a mark on the floor with it. Vertical beam lined up for the 1 meter away from the wall, and I got my ceiling laser set up at the 5 meters on the floor. So first we're going to test horizontal. I've got a piece of tape over here on the wall, and I'm just worried about the horizontal line. I'm not worried about this line. And mark dead in the center of that laser line. This is my reference line. Now I'm going to do the same here. in black. And you'll need two different colors, blue and red, black and purple's what I've got. Now what I'm gonna do is turn this laser 90 degrees to the right. Now that I've turned it 90 degrees, that laser line should be dead on the line that I already marked on there. Now I'm gonna go down there and mark a new line in a different color, being this purple. And what I'm checking is X and Y axis on the horizontal plane. Turn it 90 degrees, make sure I'm still referenced there, put a new mark down there back with my black, turn it another 90 degrees, which will make it 270. Again, make sure my line's still good there, and remark another red line. And we'll see what the difference is. Okay, now what you have to do is mark the difference between the lines. Now I'm gonna tell you, those purple lines, they were so on top of each other, it was hard to distinguish. So I'm gonna, just for negative sake, say there was maybe 1 millimeter difference. Between the two black lines, as you can see here and here, we've got 1 millimeter. So I'm gonna go back and say 0.5 millimeter on the purple. So the accuracy in the book says it can be 0.3 plus or minus millimeters per meter. So how do we figure out how off we are? So we're 1 millimeter per 5 meters. We'll just multiply that 0.3 by 5, which means we can be as much as 1.5 millimeters per 5 meters off. So we are within their tolerances of accuracy, and that's pretty good, honestly. All right, so let's talk about how to do the vertical measurements. And this is a little more time consuming and a little more pain in the butt, if you will. So basically you set the laser level on the floor, and again, I marked off 5 meters from the wall back. And I set the laser level 1 meter in from that 5 meter distance. So the laser level is now 4 meters from the far wall. And you put a piece of tape at the 1 meter behind it and at the wall on the floor. Then you put another piece of tape at the ceiling at the wall, and I marked all those reference lines. Now the hard part is now you got to take this, turn it 180 degrees and get your floor reference marks lined back up with the laser. And that took me about 10 minutes to do so. That wasn't fun. So there's going to be a little bit of an operator error there, and it's going to come into play here in just a second. Then what I had to do is I measured how high my floor to ceiling height is. And mine's 98 inches. And so I just went into Google and plugged it in and got it to be 2.489 meters. So their accuracy calibration is plus or minus 0.3 millimeters per meter. You round it up, or you can take those numbers exactly, which I did, it doesn't matter, but say 0.3 millimeters times that by 2.5, that's 0.75 millimeters for 2.5 meters, because that's what my ceiling height was. The measurement difference I got on that ceiling was so small, it was less than a millimeter. I got my digital calipers out to measure it, and I got 0.82 millimeters. So that's 0.82 millimeters per 2.5 meters. So it's actually out by 0.08 millimeters. That's 0.08 of a millimeter. You don't think there isn't some human error in there? I'm gonna say there was human error, and I'm gonna say it's accurate within their specifications. I mean, come on. You would do the same thing for the other vertical. I didn't do it, I just did those two because that one vertical took me literally about 45 minutes to do, and I just didn't want to fart with doing the other one. So now let's go to my Bosch. The Bosch accuracy, plus or minus 2.4 millimeters per 10 meters. Doing the horizontal measurement, the x-axis, which would have been the first measurement differences I took, was right on top of each other. It's dead on accurate. Then on the y-axis, which is the second set of measurements you take where you have the red line and you measure, it's actually out just a little bit. And again, it's using that 5 meter distance, and I was 2 millimeters per 5 millimeters out, and their specs are 0.24 millimeters. So the Bosch in the y-axis is actually out by 0.8 millimeters. It's not quite as accurate. Now I didn't do the vertical for the same reason I didn't do the other vertical on the Bosch, because it's just too difficult and too much time consuming. But that at least gets you to know that, hey, this LasGoo for its price point, which is less than that Bosch, is just as accurate as the expensive one. Now there's one other measurement accuracy you can check, but I didn't do it because it's too time consuming, and two, you need kind of a big open room, and I don't have that. And that is to check is your vertical and horizontal lines dead on perpendicular 90 degrees. And I'll leave a link down below to the video I watched, and he shows how to do it and calculates it, and you can watch that if you want to do that. And it was that method that I used to check the accuracy for what I have done. So far the accuracy on this, I'm impressed. It's really good. Let's get to the exciting stuff that we really want to know. Does a green laser level work better outdoors than a red laser level, or do none of them work? All right, let's do our first test here. I'll start with the red one, and it's kind of shaded in this area. We don't have direct sun. I got all 3 beams here. From here, I do not see the light. Let's see how close I can get. I can see it right there. There. And we're about 80 inches away. I can actually see the green horizontal line from here. And it's actually, I may be a little biased, but to me it is stronger than that red one. We're at about 93 inches, so 13 inches further away. So outside in a shaded area here against this fence, you can see both of them. And honestly, that ain't bad, 10.5 feet on the outside. We got one other test we're gonna try. I would say the green has a slight advantage over the red. I wouldn't say it's night and day advantage, but from this little vantage point, it is a slight advantage. I might be a little biased, not because they gave me a free laser level, but because I read that the green's supposed to be better. So here's my final challenge, and honestly, I don't think any of them are gonna work, but we're gonna try it anyway. I don't even think those big, huge, expensive $5,000 surveyor laser levels even do this. They wind up having to have that little stick that has the beep, beep, beep when they hit the mark they want to. But I want to try it anyway because there's something I want to see if we can do. And that is I'm going to try this in the sun. So we're out in an open area here in my backyard. You can see the sun shining. I'm 34 feet from that fence. I'm 12 feet from there, and I'm 28 feet from here. Now, if you remember, this laser's working range is up to 30 meters, which is 100 foot. And I'm going to go and see if we can see any lines on the fence. But what I really want to know is if I stick my tape measure out there, will a line show up across there that I can measure with? Because what I've got going on is I've got a project coming on that I'm going to put a French drain in, and I need to measure slope, and I was going to try and use the laser level for that. It's going to be in self-leveling mode. I don't see any lines. Actually, there's the line right there. Actually, at the fence, and I'll bring you close up. There is the line right there, just to prove that I am seeing it. This is registering about 54 inches, 53 and a half. The line's dark enough that you can get an accurate measurement. It's not so faded out that you're going, it's somewhere between 54 and 54 and a quarter. And there it reads at the tape measure. So that was 12 foot. So I don't see it here. That's okay, that's 34 feet. Try the 28 foot direction. I do not see it shining on the tape measure anywhere. Well, we can't see it here, which is a little disappointing. I was hoping I'd at least see it here. I didn't figure I'd see it at 34 mark, but we do see it at 12 foot, and that's good. Now let's get the Bosch with the red line out here. Same exact position and see how it does. So I just swapped out the two lasers. Now we got the red laser light. Let's go see how we can do here. I can see yep, I can see it. And honestly, I have to say, I think the red's easier. Could be because it's a little cloudy right here, but I'm able to see that red laser line clear down through here. And I really couldn't find it on the green. Granted, it wasn't overcast like it is now, but I can see that red line down to here. I mean, accurate enough I can measure it. Yeah, it's like 55 and 7/8. A little surprised, honestly. Oh, I can see it. Kind of debunks the theory that the green's supposed to be better. It's moving back and forth because the wind's blowing on it. Now it is faint, I'll give you that, which means I should definitely be able to see it on that end. I can see it, it's right there. Truthfully, I'm shocked because everything I read said, oh, the green's brighter, it shows up better, you can see it outside. Just to make sure it's a little overcast, I'll put the green one back on real quick and see if it makes a difference. It being overcast just like it was before, it doesn't really make any difference. I mean, I can see it down this way a little further than I could before, whereas the red one I could see clear down there. Can't see it on that fence, and I definitely can't see it at that end. Color me shocked, I really am. But I will say this, in the outside looking at it, the green light is a much sharper line, whereas to me, this red line's not quite as sharp as that green. So overall impressions. Well, I want to do it two ways. One, let's do it as just a plain laser level within its category, let's say. That means I'm excluding the real high-end ones, you know, them big $5,000, $10,000 ones that surveyors use. But in the category of like this and my Bosch and DeWalt and all of those, I give it an A. I give it a solid A. On price point, I give this an A+. Because as of the making of this video, this is 140 bucks, and I know I paid at least twice that for my Bosch. If you're one that needs name brands, well, you're probably gonna buy the Bosch. The one other thing I had a little issue with, and honestly, I don't think it has anything to do with the laser, I think it has to do with the light itself, and that is how well you could see the green versus the red. I was really expecting a big wow out of the green, and honestly, it probably has nothing to do with the laser. It has to do with more of the wavelength of the light that you're looking at. I was really expecting to be able to see that green much better than I did the red. But I will say, the green light is a much sharper line than the red light is. Even in my garage when I was doing the calibration test in a smaller area, the red line is more of a hazier, wider line than the green, which is a much sharper line, and I did like that. Probably gonna jack the price point up a little bit, but maybe make the covers metal instead of a plastic. I really loved this case, and for this price point and what you get and the accuracy, I think it's a very good buy. I mean, it was just as accurate as the Bosch. In fact, it was maybe just a hair more accurate. You could use the extra $150, $200 and buy you a nice tripod and still have some cash left over to go to Burger King or McDonald's if you want. Weekend DIY, the small handyman, me, and that sort of stuff, this laser level is perfect for that. There's no need to go out and spend a whole lot of money like I did, unless you just want to. Now, if you have this laser level already, or you buy it, leave me a comment down below. Let me know how you like it. And if you like these complete tool reviews that I do, I got a playlist of a bunch of them right here. You can click on and go watch some more that I've done. But until next time, happy DIYing.